Welcome to The Flow, hosted by Bob Martin, slightly edgy glimpses into politics, culture, society, and being human.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to The Flow. I'm Bob Martin, and I'm glad you're here. Today, we're talking about a word that gets thrown around a lot lately, RINO, Republican in name only. A friend of mine posted something on Facebook that got me thinking hard about what that word actually means, and more importantly, what the word conservative means anymore. So that's where we're headed. Here's what I want to know. When did keeping your principles become an act of disloyalty? Tell me about a time you felt pressure to pick the team over the truth. Now, I read every comment. I mean that. So drop it down below in the comments. And quick reminder before we get into it. The Flow's independent. No network, no corporate sponsor, just me and the people who choose to support this. And after all the production costs, every single dollar of paid subscription revenue goes to Doctors Without Borders, World Central Kitchen, and Oxfam. So if this show means something to you, consider subscribing. It actually helps to fund the people that do awfully hard work. So let's get into it. A friend of mine posted something on Facebook the other day that took more guts than she probably realized. She said she hadn't posted anything political in a while, and then she just asked a simple question. She said, I know what the initials RINOs stand for, but what is a conservative now? She even said she might regret asking, and she was right to be nervous because the comments came fast and they weren't really answers. They were more like loyalty tests. Somebody told her a conservative puts God first, then family, then others. Somebody else said a RINO is just a fake Republican. Somebody pretending to be conservative to win an election is a RINO. Nobody gave her a definition you could actually test against a vote or a budget. Everybody gave her their feelings. And I spent a lot of time in courtrooms, and here's what it taught me. When nobody can define a word, that word usually isn't doing the job you think it's doing. So let's do the work nobody in that comment section wanted to do. Let's define our terms. First of all, Republican is the name of a party. Conservative is not a party, it's a philosophy. And it has real content, limited government, fiscal responsibility, constitutional checks and balances, decisions made close to home, personal responsibility, free enterprise, respect for institutions, reverence for the rule of law. Those aren't my definitions, by the way. Conservatives have been describing themselves that way for generations. And here's what should unsettle everybody on every side of this. Voting with the Republican Party doesn't automatically make you a conservative, and disagreeing with the party doesn't make you a RINO. Those are two different questions wearing the same shirt. Now, I used to warn my law students about a trap. It happens when you define an issue to fit the conclusion you already wanted. You see it in bad legal arguments, and you see it in politics all the time when conservatives get redefined as whatever the party currently endorses. The word stops describing principles and starts functioning as a loyalty oath. And a loyalty oath doesn't protect principles. It protects whoever's in charge. So let's put the party through its own test. Well, first of all, does it govern like it believes in limited government? A party that says it opposes big government and then reaches for more control over personal medical decisions, school curricula, library shelves, private businesses, and who gets to fully participate in public life. That's not shrinking government. That's just deciding whose behavior it wants to police. Next, Does it govern like it believes in fiscal responsibility? The 2017 tax law added close to $2 trillion to the deficit over a decade, and that's according to the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office. Then last year's budget bill, the one supporters call the One Big Beautiful Bill, was projected to add another $3.4 trillion, with some independent estimates coming closer to $4 trillion once you factor in the broader effects. That's not one mistake. That's the same party, the same banner, the same move, 8 years apart. Next, does it govern like it's suspicious of concentrated power? Real conservatism has always been suspicious of concentrated power, especially executive power, no matter who holds it. A movement that organizes around loyalty to one man, that treats disagreement with him as disloyalty to the whole cause, isn't conserving anything. It's building a monarchy with better branding. And then there's God, who gets invoked constantly here and examined rarely. Now, Christianity, as I understand it, judges leaders by truthfulness, humility, mercy, justice, and concern for the vulnerable, not by whether they hold up a Bible or promise power to Christians. Using God to gain political control isn't the same thing as governing with godly character. Now, I don't think the people leaving those comments in those posts are foolish or dishonest. Most of them are doing what most of us do, trusting the information they were handed, trying to make sense of a party that keeps rearranging the furniture. The problem isn't with the people. It's a system that's learned it can keep their loyalty by redefining the furniture instead of moving it back where it belongs. So maybe the real question isn't, is this politician or that voter loyal enough to the party? Maybe it's this. Does this person conserve constitutional government, fiscal responsibility, truth, personal liberty, moral character, and equal justice under law? Now that's a question you can actually cross-examine. Loyalty to a person can't be. Loyalty to a principle can. So when RINO becomes the label for any Republican who thinks independently, keeps an oath, compromises to get something done, or just refuses to salute one man, that word has stopped protecting conservative principles. It's protecting conformity and calling it courage. So here's my honest question for conservatives and for everybody else listening. If loyalty to a party ever asks you to abandon loyalty to your own stated principles, which one is actually yours? Your party or your principles? And for those who say, I am a lifelong Republican, I've always voted Republican, and you have this lingering feeling that you're betraying a lifelong commitment, I would just say, hey, you are not leaving your party. Your party left you. I'll see you Monday for the Flow Calm Waters, and then next Wednesday for the Flow Weekly. Stay awake, stay aware, and stay engaged.